Facebook is up and YouTube is up.
All right. We want to say shout out to our sponsors, Watchman Cigars, 1812 Barbecue, Blue Collar Cycle Shop, and Operation Decisive Victory. Without you, this episode would not be possible. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where it's our take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, while you, the listener, are getting a degree in the science and data. We've got a great show lined up for you, as always. But before we begin, let me introduce you to our starting lineup. I, of course, be your host, Biggin. And how about you? Behind the magic make things happen thing is our producer, Brian.
Hey, guys.
And, of course, from across the way is the pride of Anderson, South Carolina. But most of you probably know him best as the Silver Tongue One 2020's Motorcycle Salesman of the Year, the inventor of the Redneck Egg Roll. Give it up on old mic number one. It's Mojo!
Man, it's good to be back. It's been a few weeks. Appreciate you guys tuning in on Facebook Live. And if you're not on Facebook Live, you should be. But the podcast, you can check us out. We usually do our weekly dump on Mondays. And either way, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com, Southern Fried Philosophy. You can find us on our website at southernfriedphilosophy.com. Also, pretty much anywhere you stream your podcast, just go there, hit the old magnifying glass, search Southern Fried Philosophy. You can find us there. Just subscribe, give us a review, give us a rating. We have been officially doing this for, 4 years now? A little over 4 years?
A little over 4 now. We've broke the 4-year barrier.
I don't even know how many episodes we have now, but we've been doing
155.
it. So what started off as an idea over coffee has become an idea over adult drinks on a random night of the week. So,
there you go.
Anyway, appreciate you guys tuning in. Also, Twitter's, Instagram, SFP Radio. You can also check out our Patreon link at patreon.com/SFP Radio. Hopefully, we'll get our SFP Insiders back up and going here soon. Why you got that face for?
Yeah, I feel totally guilty that we haven't been doing that.
That's all right. I think there's some forgiveness and grace in 2020. I think that's the motto besides duck and weave and wear a mask. So,
yeah, I was telling producer Brian before the show, there's no more live PD. So this is really probably the next greatest train wreck you could watch on TV. So, I mean, there's that.
I invite anyone to come down to 1017 Old West Ennis Street in Salisbury at my shop. We'll pull out a lawn chair. I have adult beverages of various takes in the shop. We'll grab a cigar. We have a Watchman cigar up in the front, also another brand, and we'll sit back and just watch the neighborhood. It's it's live PD and live action. So
why don't we do that more often? We need to actually do that.
Let's do it.
That would be fantastic.
I think you guys would quite enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Honestly, yeah.
I'd be scared, but
no,
there's that.
No, everyone's harmless.
Yeah,
but it's good. It's good fun. It's good action. So, yeah, you guys need to come check it out.
Absolutely. We want to say shout out to our listeners from Egypt. All of a sudden, they popped on the scene. What's up, Egypt folk? How you doing? If I say "let my people go," is that offensive? You think?
In 2020, everything's offensive. So yeah, I mean, probably so.
Go.
Are they in denial?
That's great. Well, guys, thank you again for tuning in to the Southern Fried Philosophy podcast. It's been a minute, so it may take a second for us to get our bearings, so bear with us. But I do know one thing, that since we started 155 episodes ago, we've always kicked off the show with this one and only question. How you be doing? So, producer Brian, it's been a minute. How you be doing?
Yeah, it's good. I've taken 2 vacations in the last 3 weeks. So I'm pretty relaxed. I forgot how to produce a podcast,
Right?
so that's a little stressful.
You left me to edit an episode, and it went straight to Hades, like I talked about on the last episode. Oh my goodness!
Yeah. So yeah, I did the little mountain trip and then a short little beach trip for my anniversary. Just hunkered down. We weren't out in places very much, but
Attaboy.
the beach is a pretty safe place, I feel like.
Sure. Is it? Because I see pictures where some beaches are like flooded, and some beaches are pretty open.
Well, where I went was kind of a private beach, so
fancy.
it's less. It's a private beach next to like a very residential area where you have to have like there's a security gate to get down the street kind of thing.
Ooh.
It was Litchfield Beach and near Palo's Island, South Carolina, but the area I was in wasn't like there wasn't anybody close by. Then you could see, if you look down the beach though, you'd see like the public area, and there'd be little.
And that's where it gets sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scariest part for me was the elevator. So I was on the 7th floor. I wasn't taking the stairs.
And it was just you and the wife, right? You didn't have the kids.
Yeah, the kids were at grandma's for 2 weeks. So
you got to watch what you wanted to watch, eat what you wanted to eat. No worries.
Yeah.
What was the best thing that you guys ate?
Carbapalooza was going on, so I was eating all the junk food. I gained 15 pounds.
Attaboy.
Yeah, we've been binging The Americans from FX.
Good show.
Nice.
Yeah, we're on season 5, so we're doing some good work there. Yeah.
Mojo.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. How you been doing?
I think it has been forever. I just straight up work nonstop. That's pretty much my life, which my hobbies and my work are all wrapped up in one. But I think the motto for this year is just another week without Corona. So that's halfway through the year. I think we're tracking pretty good. So I'm just trying to sidestep the hype and stay healthy. That's it.
Do you remember like back in February when we were yucking it up, saying like, this is the stupidest thing anybody's ever heard of. It's not gonna do anything. Boy, were we wrong on that one.
I still believe it's probably one of the stupidest things that we've encountered. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying that it is. I have my own opinions on it, and I think that it's. I think we've kind of jumped the shark with it.
We're going to talk about COVID in the next segment, but anything else that's been going on? Things going well?
Yeah, hey, I'm healthy. I'm on the podcast tonight, which every day is a good day. So I have no complaints, man. I mean, every day you wake up is a good day. So
sure.
So
at any point since July 3rd, did you happen to get Disney Plus and watch Hamilton?
Well, I don't pay for cable. I just illegally stream. I illegally stream.
Did you illegally stream Hamilton yet?
No, because I work too much.
Okay.
So yeah, I will see it sometime but I've also got a whole list that I'm still tracking back from like 1992, like Lion King, So Hamilton will probably rank below Lion King and a few others.
Okay.
So eventually I'll get to it.
Eventually you get there. Producer Brian, did you watch it?
We talked about watching it.
Yeah.
First we said, like Independence Day, we were going to watch it. And then I was like, well, maybe like our anniversary was the following week. And I was going to make the joke that I took my wife to the beach to see Hamilton, which meant we went and watched it on the television in the hotel room.
Right.
It didn't actually happen. We were too hooked on the show we were watching. So we're going to finish binging. We have, 20 more episodes to watch of The Americans. Then we'll watch Hamilton.
All right.
Yeah. I was like, I've seen it live already, so I'm not in a huge hurry. So
sure. Yeah. No, it came out July 3rd. my wife made me buy Disney Plus July 2nd. And we were at my adopted mom's house, and it came on, and she was just, we waited till about the afternoon. There was a side party that was going on, that there was people there that we didn't really want to be mingling with. Not that there was any problem with them. It was just they were having a separate party downstairs in the basement. It gave us some time to say, let's watch Hamilton. But the people that were there didn't quite understand how invested we are in Hamilton. So it was like, oh, like we're zoned in, and we just didn't want to be like disturbed. And Small Batch was there, and she was looking up and dancing to the songs and whatnot. But I mean, my wife and I are both obsessed with it, and so that was quite funny to try to, you know, pay attention, but then still have other things around. So we got through most of it, and then we said, well, we're just going to finish the rest of it when we get home. So we did, and so that was good. And then we went to my grandma's house, which I love her to death. She turned 91, so grandma hit 91. I tell you, the pictures that came out of there, that the hamburgers, the biscuit and gravy, the chocolate gravy, so good. It was good. So I wish she brought some home for you guys. We were planning on having a chocolate gravy party at the house. Everybody was dialed in, and then the wife started not feeling well, so we had to pull the parachute on that, and that didn't happen. But the gravy's still there. It's still good. So.
But your wife also tested negative.
She did. You know, be on the safe side. I mean,
no, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, we're just being on the safe side. So anyway, so we got home from vacation, not feeling the greatest, and then slowly getting over it. And now my sister-in-law and her husband are on their way up with her 2 kids. So we've got a fun-filled weekend ahead of us as well. And then after that, we're going on vacation. So, I mean, it's just nonstop.
We'll probably sit around and cook some soups and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Producer Brian, you've got a note on here about headliners.
Yeah, so the Southern Fried Headlines podcast is unfortunately going to be on an indefinite hold, probably until COVID is dealt with, mostly because of time.
Okay.
We'll probably get into this a little bit later, but I'm going to end up homeschooling my kids here pretty soon. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I'm going to be a
busy guy, and that's the time that requires to do the Headlines podcast right now. It's just not.
Wow.
So when everyone gets out of my house, I'll probably bring it back. But until then.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to focus my efforts on this show. So.
Sure. No, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Just to give you guys a heads up of what to expect for the remaining of the show, we have got a bracket. Everybody loves when we do brackets. This one's called Starch Madness. So we're going to go through a list of different starchy foods and pick which one that we like the best, argue about it, and then we'll bracket them out until we get a winner.
This is what we have devolved to, since we have no sports.
Absolutely.
And just random brackets.
No sports, random brackets. Love it. Producer Brian has some wacky news. Hot topics. We're going to talk about the North Carolina going back to school plan. And we're going to be talking about Unsolved Mysteries Episode 1. So if you have not yet watched Unsolved Mysteries Episode 1, you can wait until then, stop it, and then come back and hear our thoughts. I have a pretty extensive list of the description of the episode, so we will go over that. And then we'll put on our sleuthing hats and then try to figure out who we think did the crime. So as we continue through the show, we have the next thing we're going to talk about is COVID. Mojo, let's hear your thoughts on COVID. Look at those eyes get big. Hey, buddy.
Oh, man.
Also, this is where we add the disclaimer.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got got that somewhere. I don't know where it is though. Oh well, I can't find it. So everyone
right,
agrees
well,
with us. Go ahead.
Once again, I believe obviously Corona is real. I mean, I've known people that have gotten it. I know more people that haven't, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But I was looking at June statistics here. We've had a 42% spike in overdoses. We've had a 21% increase in suicides this year alone. I think the pain that we're going through with Corona right now and the shutdown of the economy is obviously affecting everyone's mental status, mental health. So I think the repercussions of the shutdown are probably far outweigh the virus itself. Now, you'll have mixed emotions or mixed opinions from healthcare workers. Like I know healthcare workers in certain areas who are not seeing this huge toll on the hospital system. And then obviously other areas like New York City, Chicago, Metro Atlanta, a place like that, where, they're approaching 100% capacity or 90% capacity at ICU. So we've taken this one size fits all approach to the whole nation with this lockdown. I think in 5-10 years we'll look back and think that this one size fits all approach was a disaster. I think some states do it well, other states don't. We probably need to dissect this a little bit more, and we can kind of go into it. But I think that a lot of people like myself who have saved every penny they could for several years to open up their dream business and employ other people and to make these dreams happen, spent all their life savings to open a business, and then have a city, a governor, basically force it shut down because it's deemed non-essential or doesn't open in a certain category of phase. These are the guys who are really truly losing, and there's no comeback for it. I mean, there's an independent survey came out by the Restaurant News and Small Business Association last week that by the end of 2020, 85% of independent restaurants will not be open in 2021. They're permanently closed. Doors.
Wait, how many?
85% of independent restaurants are produced by the end of 2020. It continues as it seems to be progressing. That's your mom and pop shops, the generational restaurants that have been there for years, that pass down the restaurant to their sons, daughters, grandkids.
Yeah.
These are the places that are going to be affected because they're deemed non-essential or not non-essential, but now under these certain phases in certain states. Like, for example, North Carolina, we're still in phase 2 until 2028 or whatever it is. That you can only have limited capacity. You can only serve this. You got to close at this time. You got to wear hazmat suits and Jedi outfits and whatever. It's harming these businesses. And, I more than welcome to send the hate mail to me direct on Facebook Messenger or email, but, we just want to be able to provide for our families. It's not like we're trying to go out there and kill grandma, as some people have stated, because we're out there, trying to spread the Rona.
Yeah.
But these are the cold hard facts. These are people that are now going to be on taxpayer dollars trying to get subsidies to help make up for their losses. And also we have, repercussions down the road where commercial mortgages could fail from restaurants going vacant. I mean, there's just a whole a bit of dominoes, and I think we're missing that based on the opinion of people that just have no business sense and no compassion for those people who open those businesses where they like to shop at.
Yeah, I mean, every day there's a new report coming out that contradicts the report that came out the day before. So Fauci says one thing, Trump says something else. Every politician says the thing that counteracts whatever the party line is. Every doctor will tell you something different. Here's the thing that I just don't understand. And maybe one here, I feel very confident. I'm not going to say positive. I feel very confident that Corona was here way before everybody said, oh, we only have one case in Washington or whatever. I know of people that were really sick in February before all this stuff hit the fan with all the hardcore symptoms that brought in COVID. So it had to have been here way before then. I think that there's people that know a whole lot more than they're giving us credit for or releasing to the media or what have you. So the messages are inconsistent at best. And the thing that I don't understand is and I get this with the flu, but if you have the flu, like, like I'm going to be achy, I'm going to have a fever. I know, like I'm just overall going to feel exhausted. Like I feel drained. There's symptoms that are consistent with the flu. There's symptoms that are consistent with a cold, but this thing, it's all over the map. Like people have tested positive for COVID that never had a fever. But that's the one thing that we're saying, well, everybody's getting checked with their temperatures because you may have a fever. But I know people that have tested it that never had a fever, that just felt like it, like they had a cold, and not even like a major cold. The symptoms are just all over the map. One guy I know had lost their sense of smell and taste. Like, where did that come from? Like, the symptoms are not consistent. I just don't get it. Like the numbers don't add up. The symptoms don't add up. Brian, do you have any thoughts on this? Like, I just don't know why everything is there's no clear guideline on things.
I don't know. To me, it just seems like the doctors or the medical researchers or whoever haven't been able to nail down and study this thing. It is so unconventional or weird. I agree that it was probably here sooner, and I think a lot of us didn't react to it or didn't take it seriously soon enough, maybe, and that maybe could have mitigated some of this stuff if we had been taking it seriously in March as a country or February even. The possibility of it,
Expand on that a little bit because.
Well, you hear things in hindsight. You hear data. You always find, was it 2020? I forget the saying. Anyway, you always see better after you have all the data.
Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, that's the one.
Nailed it.
Wordsmith. We find out now about things that may have been happening in February, like January, February. Did the White House know what was happening? How serious it could have been, and did us as a country or as the administration of the White House just say, "We're America, we'll just deal with it, it will be fine," or could there something been done differently? Some other countries have had stricter enforcement of lockdowns and things, and they've been less scathed by it. That's the kind of information. It's like New Zealand, was fining people for doing things that would potentially spread the virus, things like that. Could that have helped if more of us were more serious about trying to prevent it for a shorter amount of time and maybe knock it out? I don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm not a researcher, but those are just my thoughts there.
I think, Roy Cooper, the dictator of North Carolina now, because it seems that he doesn't have to have any legal reason during the Constitution of North Carolina to be able to do anything. He just makes a declaration and it happens. Quotes, we're going to follow the science and data. So, we have this mandate to wear masks in public now. So in theory, if masks work, according to the science and data, wouldn't the logical reason be to open up the economy again?
Or
No,
if
he's stating science and data, mask work.
Well, I'm going to argue.
Good.
I'll argue with the fact that you call it data and I say data. I'm just saying.
No,
Data.
well, data is a Star Trek character.
Those are completely different
That's
things.
true.
So he's not looking at data; he's looking at Star Trek.
That would explain the whole thing. I take everything back, Cooper. So,
he's a traveler.
yeah.
But to follow that logic, then if there's a shelf life of this thing of 2 weeks, then if everybody's wearing masks, it should be done in 2 weeks, right?
Well, we're on day 783 of the 15-day flatten the curve. So I don't know, but in theory,
not wearing masks.
That is true.
Vacation season. I took 2 trips.
That is true.
People are going out and they're leaving their bubble intentionally. And I'm not saying people are trying to spread stuff, but we're all going, I'm safe enough, but I'm still going to do what I want to do and wear a mask. And maybe some of the entertainment type things. And I know that's not good for the economy either to not take a trip. Doesn't help the South Carolina
tourism board,
tourism folks. But we're still treating it like, even me, I feel like I've taken this pretty seriously for the most part, just from a distancing standpoint. I went and stayed in a hotel and I went and got takeout and did those things. I tried to be careful, but my wife re-sanitized the entire room as soon as we walked in the door.
Sure, yeah. and I don't think that's a horrible thing. But I don't trust the hotel workers to do that.
Sure. And maybe you live in a county where you haven't had a lot of stuff, and I've heard this a little bit from like mountain counties maybe, who were kind of unscathed a little bit, and then people like me go, I'm gonna go to the mountains because there's nobody up there that has that, and maybe I'm carrying something with me, and I'm giving it to them now or whatever. That's how stuff spreads. Is we're still moving around a lot.
So what would be the?
But if masks work, I mean, it would negate the argument.
They work. They work. They don't work as well as condoms, probably.
I mean, that is a 1% failure rate.
Right, so what's the failure rate? It's masks.
But the idea is if we wrap ourselves in condoms, we'll be okay.
But that probably would be very effective. It'll probably also increase our death rate a little bit. But no, I mean, we have first off, the mask. We have a very loose definition of mask. We have people literally wearing crocheted Granny's 1973 toilet lid covers as a face mask. I mean, argue what you want, surgical mask, micron, blah, blah, blah. But I'm pretty sure a damn crocheted mask ain't going to stop nothing.
Sure.
And we got people out there that to get by. But if masks work, then the economy should be open. Because if everyone's it's kind of like the vaccine theory with herd immunity and vaccines. If you have X amount of population vaccinated, then you don't spread communicable diseases that are preventable by vaccines. So masks are that vaccine, allegedly. So we should be able to open up the economy due to that. Stats have been, I mean, look, did you see the recent announcement from Florida this past week where they're actually having to re-examine their COVID positive tests? Because, Florida was hitting they were hitting record numbers every day this past week. Scary numbers, 13, 15, 16,000 positive cases. Now they're having to review the science and data from Florida right now because, when you have 10, 12, 15 collection sites of showing 100% positive rate, I don't care who you are. I sat behind the Indian kid in high school and I didn't get 100% on all my tests. What's that?
I don't think you can say that.
Kid?
Dot or feather?
Okay, gotcha.
Views and opinions of Southern Fried Philosophy. You can't have 100%. Florida, come on. Like, even if I got the results and it was 100% positive, I'd say, wait a minute, hold on, something's not right. But I think that they've done that.
Yeah, but that makes me question, like, for example,
the numbers.
Yeah, my business is in Rowan County in North Carolina here, and right now we currently have 10 whole people in the hospital, in the whole hospital system in Rowan County that are hospitalized due to COVID. Mm-hmm. Now, how many of those actually came in for other underlying situations. For example, they needed a valve replacement. They needed a hip surgery. They needed emergency gallbladder removal. And all of a sudden they test positive for COVID. Are they now classified as a COVID case? I mean, these are questions I have that no one knows. And my point is, with the science and data, as our governor, Roy Cooper, who hopefully loses in November, I'm tired of this character, this clown. We're shutting down a large portion of our state's economy, and of course nationwide with these other clown governors, due to these stats that they're seeing. I mean, I probably wouldn't walk out of my house if I based my life off stats, like the stat that I can get killed in an automobile accident, or the percentage that I can get hit by, falling skyrock or whatever. I mean, these are percentages that, we take every day, but we're shutting down whole segments of the economy. And now which we're about to get into with the school system, we're reshaping the future of this generation that we have in school right now, the millennials and the next generation coming behind them.
Yeah.
And that's scary. That I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, but right now for my kids, I'm more scared for my kids right now and their future based off of 2020 and 2021 school year.
Yeah. I think it's going to be, we'll be debating this, I think, till we're going to be the old guys, the old codgers, at the farmer's market with the table set up going, hey, remember when we had COVID? That screwed the economy up forever.
I want to be the old fart curmudgeon. I want to be the old fart curmudgeon that just, that sits and criticizes everything. That's my one goal in life. And if I can make it that long, I think I've had a well.
To be honest, I think you're kind of already there, buddy.
But I'm working on it.
You're getting very good at it. I think that, again, the COVID, this is the other thing that blows my mind. Numbers have gone up, but we knew cases were going to go up because testing has gone up, and then we all freak out that COVID numbers are up. Well, there's more testing coming up. So there's that. If you look at the death rate, it's still 0.04, which was still a very small population. I don't trust the numbers. The other thing too is if you're trying to push out a test, a COVID test, and you're trying to do it as fast as you possibly can, do you not think that you're probably not going to get them all right? Like, you're just trying to mass produce something you're just trying to get on the shelves just to calm everybody's nerves. I don't know if they've really got it nailed down like they like it. So I just don't.
Yeah, because there's been some false negative percentages too on that stuff, right?
Absolutely.
You don't know if you test positive or negative. You don't know if you still don't know if you had it or not. You just know you're sick.
Well, I was talking to our show friend, the resident plumber Kurt, before I walked into the house, and he has family that all went to the beach, and 9 of them, and 6 out of 9 tested positive for COVID, and then like a day later, a couple of them didn't. I mean, how do you have a positive and a negative, in that short of a time span? As far as the testing thing, obviously, I think that was just probably government contracts being fulfilled and rush to market. And, going back, like you're talking about a few minutes ago, as far as going back, like we can do the replay. I'm not a scientist, not a mathematician. I barely can speak English, but I'm pretty sure that we probably have some semblance of how viral transmission happens. They recognize this as a virus at first, and we probably have a good catalog of how viral transmission happens. Air, touch, saliva, blah, blah, blah. We probably have a good handle on it, and we probably know proper protocols for this. So we when we talk about the White House or the CDC or WHO or whatever, we have to have a decent grasp on how viral transmission happens, how viral load happens. We talked about certain countries shutting down. I mean, we had several countries that shut down, like severe lockdown, Spain, Italy. These are the countries that happened. But we also had countries that didn't lock down. Sweden, most of the Scandinavian countries didn't, and they've already reached full herd immunity. What they did differently was they locked down their precious, elderly, immune compromised, kids. They saved. Actually, kids didn't even stop. Kids went to school. School never stopped. But they locked down the people that are the most vulnerable, the elderly, the ones that are immunocompromised, and they continue life as normal. And they've already reached, like I said, they've already reached the herd immunity threshold and are continuing life as steady as can be. I mean, their economy is not in the tanks. And here we are, we're doing a hybridization of creeping socialism, communism into our economy based off of mass hysteria. And we're as Americans, we're damn good at that. We are very good at taking a little bit of truth and shaping the whole culture for the next generation. We're good at that. And I can give numerous examples on that. And I think COVID, when Eric Holder said it, and this has probably been a quote that's been overquoted 100 times by conspiracy theorists and right wingers, but when Eric Holder, a former Attorney General of President Barack Obama, said, "Never let a good crisis go to waste," man, COVID is the Apple stock of the 80s. I mean, it is. Sure. I mean, imagine the amount of data collection. If you look at just data, look at data collection.
No, that's true.
If you look at, we're getting to reshape the currency. There's possibilities of us all going digital because we can't even mint coins right now. The amount of reshaping is astronomical with Corona. I mean, people higher above it than our pay grades are taking notice. And I think they can seize an opportunity for things that they may have had plans 20 years down the road. They can implement them now. Yeah. School's one of them. And so my thing is, I know how hard I work. I know how hard other independent entrepreneurs work. And to see people's livelihoods get, when you have a governor like Dick Tater Cooper picking winners and choosers and saying that, hey, you can go buy your pansies and soil and charcoal grill at Lowe's, but hey, mom and pop shop, you probably want to not have embroidery, or you may not want to be able to open your restaurant to seat, people actually pay your bills. It just, something ain't right. Something don't smell right. So,
this whole thing just doesn't pass the sniff test at the end of the day. Do I think that it's real? Absolutely. Do I think that people die because of it or complications to it? Absolutely. I'm not that, naive to think that it's somebody made it up and it's not even real. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I think that, as you said, they're not letting this crisis go to waste, and people are shaping the future because of this. And whatever, whatever can happen because of us being scared is likely to happen. And like those that are in power can,
and I think, rules. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, as Americans, here we are, only thing we can be consumed with now, like I can remember actually being a little bit concerned about global politics. Right now, all I can be concerned about is North Carolina, and the U.S.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks ago, it was like, is the city going to burn around me? I mean, things change. Things have changed so drastically, but we have no global perspective. I'd be interested in getting Yael, who has his own podcast now, and he's in Austria. I just saw him vacationing in another part of Europe right now. I'd be interested to have him on to get his perspective of what's happening across in Europe right now.
Yeah.
And to see how their take on what's happening, especially upcoming school year and things like that.
Absolutely. Producer Brian, any other lasting thoughts on COVID?
Nope. To be continued.
To be
COVID's an
continued.
asshole. I just want to say that. That's my last
I
thought.
don't think we're allowed to say that either. Have you
COVID?
thought about how COVID feels about that when you call him that?
It's very
All right, so I think producer Ryan, I'm going to throw a slight curveball on here. I think what I was thinking about is what if we do one side of the bracket and then go to a wacky news and then go to another side of the bracket.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. Okay.
What do you feel about that?
That's fine. We could do that.
We could maybe break it up a little bit.
Yeah, let's make this. Let's kick this trash can over and see what happens.
All right. So as I said at the beginning, we're going to do a Starch Madness since we don't have any sports going on. We decided we're going to do a bracket like the NCAA Final Four bracket, but we're doing only starchy foods. Why not? So we've got this broken down into different categories. We've got from the East Division, we've got appetizers and sides. From the West Division, entrees. What are the other two ones?
Desserts and snacks.
Desserts and snacks, but they're like different. What are the different regions in a normal bracket?
It's usually like a north, south, east, and west, right? Or is there a east?
Yeah, well,
we'll just I don't know.
We'll just say from the dessert region and the snack region.
And there's a snack region.
Yep. So we'll go off. Let's start off with appetizers and sides.
Say from the deep fryer region or something like that, maybe or the pantry region.
That sounds good. All right, so we'll start off with appetizers and sides. We have 16 teams playing in this division. The number one seed of this is French fries, and that's going up against potato latkes. Potato latkes. Thoughts? I'm going to go surprise seed. I think I'm going to go with the potato.
Which one?
The potato latkes. There you go. There you go. And we're off to a win. Oh, the potato latkes. I like them. They're like the little potato cakes, right?
They're like a bow round, right? I'm kidding. That's what I think of it as.
All right, we're gonna have to go to Mojo.
Like
Mojo, what?
That's like I like a potato latke. That's
yeah. They have onion. They're like a fried hash brown cake.
Okay.
I'm not a French fry guy. I could care less about French fries. So
I'd say fries.
Okay, potato latke for the win. Wow, our first upset.
I'm done.
You're already done? You like French fries that much? Cornbread.
I'm American. So,
but that's French.
There's some other stuff that's not American on here. I'm pretty sure.
Freedom fries. They're freedom fries.
Fries. Remember the big push for freedom fries after 9/11? Oh Lord, y'all, we've lost our ever-loving minds. Cornbread over garlic knots.
Cornbread.
I'm gonna go with cornbread as well.
As long as it's not too sweet.
Oh
yeah, not the Jiffy mix.
Who put sugar in their cornbread?
I gotta say it. I gotta be very clear here.
That's the same people out there That's the same people out there licking shopping cart handles during the corona right now. That's who uses sugar.
It was just a produce bag, man. It wasn't the shopping cart.
By the way, did you guys watch? They had a Chris Farley special on TV the other night. Did you guys watch that at all?
I illegally stream TV.
Well,
so I can see it. Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Watch it on TV, but that sounds amazing.
But it was they had like his three brothers, which I didn't know he had three. And they talked about his life, but I didn't realize like how OCD he was. Like before he would go on stage, he would go like next to the doorway and have to hit the doorway left, right, left, and lick both sides of it before he'd go on stage. How interesting is that?
I thought it was drugs that killed him, man.
Well, it was drugs that killed him, but
doesn't sound like it. It was COVID.
Right.
COVID,
he probably started corona.
COVID-10 or something,
There it is. This is a tough one, guys. This is a 4-seed nachos up against Hush Puppies.
Hush Puppies.
Ooh, man.
There's so many things you could do with nachos. That's where I'm like, oh man.
I love nachos. I like Hush Puppies. I like good Hush Puppies too.
Is
You
the
gotta
hush
get a
puppies
little-
going to
the
have
little tub of
onions in them?
country crock with them too, though. You know, they'll like do the.
We can't
butter.
define the hush puppy because we didn't define the fry because you have waffle fries, you have
That is
shoestring
true.
fries, you have a
That is true.
rida.
All right. I'm going to go then with nachos.
I'm gonna agree with nachos.
Ooh.
Chicken nachos, beef nachos.
No, it's just the tortilla chips. It's just the starch aspect. It's not
the
That is
chips,
true.
that's another-
Okay.
No. Tortilla chips is a different category. That's a different item in the snack category.
Well,
But
hold
there
on.
are nacho
fries.
chips.
Fries, you could argue for chili cheese fries.
There's too much protein on those, probably.
All right, then I'm switching to hush puppies. If that's the case, if it's only the starch,
It's nacho. No, it's not. This is there's a tortilla chip is a different food on here in the bottom, the number 2 seed in the snack category.
this one
Nachos has cheese on it. So
Yep, let's define because this is coming from the appetizers and sides category
Yes.
because there's crab rangoon that's in this category. There's egg rolls, so you have to take the whole thing with it, not just the starch.
Yeah.
So I'm changing it back to nachos. My allergies are killing me in my eye. All right, so nachos, onion rings versus empanadas.
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 I'll go with empanadas. Is that what you're doing, producer Brian?
Sorry, I was looking at the live chat there for a second. What onion rings? Is that what I said? Empanadas are awesome though. Man, I like onion rings.
Yeah, I'm going with empanadas.
What did
I think
say?
it doesn't matter because
Did you both say empanadas?
yeah, we did.
Okay, I can agree. I'm fine with that. That's
Man.
I mean,
All right, dumplings going against sliders.
so I'm assuming dumplings is like Chinese style dumpling, like the little
Pan
pork,
fried.
the little pork ones, you know.
Okay,
But
I think there's too much you could do with a regular slider.
I love a slider, man.
I do love a slider.
I love tiny food.
It makes me feel like a giant.
But no, it's just too broad. You can have Krispy Kreme cheeseburger sliders.
There you go. That's all you need to know.
Buffalo chicken sliders.
I'm going dumplings on this one. So
Ooh, change the
I
vote.
could eat those dumplings every day.
Dumpling. I have a weakness to dumplings.
You're going okay. So dumplings for the win.
Just give me.
I'm
a
saying,
shot of that little
actually,
sauce.
yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. The argument that we had before the show, table bread versus crab rangoon. And when I think of table bread, I think of the stuff coming out of like Outback, you know, where they take the bread, they just put the bread out there. Versus crab rangoon.
When I think of table bread, I think of like stale ass stuff. You got drizzle the oil and the spices, like
Oh yeah, I like that too.
macaroni
There's,
grill
yeast
or-
rolls.
Yeah, buddy. Whew. But I could eat crab rangoon, like a good crab rangoon. I could take down some crab rangoon.
One that actually has crab in it and not just cream cheese.
Right. Yep.
I think the crab rangoon because you're really just using the cream cheese. You're using the wonton to scoop up the cream cheese and the sauce. So
Yeah. And you're right. It has a sauce with it, which is delicious. All right. So crab rangoon, we can call that the win. This one is a tough one, guys. Potato skins versus egg rolls.
Egg rolls.
hands down egg rolls.
Egg rolls.
Egg
all
rolls.
day. Yeah.
Okay.
I ain't saying I like a potato skin too.
You know what?
That's
You know what would be
19
really good is this thing. I've heard of this thing called a redneck egg roll.
It's a myth.
Boy, I've heard about it. Never had one. 4+ years.
Well, I made some, but y'all couldn't come over during Corona. I ate 'em
It's right next to the chocolate gravy from Grandma.
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh my gosh. All right, quesadillas over arancini. Man, I said it earlier, right? Arancini.
Remind us what that was again.
Arancini or aranciata, whatever. Is basically a risotto rice that has they stuff it with like mozzarella cheese and then they deep fry it. So, I mean, you really can't go wrong with that. They usually serve it like a marinara. It depends. I've seen it served with basil pesto. And
I think I like that over a quesadilla. To me, a quesadilla is just a cheap taco.
I like a good
Well-
quesadilla, but the other thing is more interesting. I'll give
Yeah.
you that.
Talk about Mexican food. It's all the same thing. the number 3 is the same as the number 10. They just
That is
wrap
true.
it in different ways.
It's a different thing.
It's chicken or beef. That's the.
Yeah.
Chicken or beef. Yeah.
It's either flat, square, fried. It's all the
Rolled.
same stuff. Yeah,
All
exactly.
right. All right. I think just for time wise, producer Brian, we may just do a wacky news and then start moving forward. What do you
Whatever
think?
you want to do. I don't.
Maybe
we
the
can-
second. Maybe the second half bracket next week.
We can keep it rolling. I mean, we can. The wacky news was not
Okay.
amazing
All right.
this week.
So
we
we're
can-
gonna power through the Starch Madness.
This is
all
more
right.
interesting to me.
Okay.
as
You're
a-
right. All right. Let's
backup
skip that
plan.
and keep going. All right. Here we go. The entree category. And is anybody saying anything on the chat that we need to?
Yes. Rodney is chiming in on everything here for the most
I'm-
part. Yeah.
Sure.
He was
I'm not
French
seeing any of
fries,
those.
cornbread. He was a big. He's the reason why French fry was a 1 seed probably. Hush puppies, onion rings, dumplings,
So basically everything the opposite
crab
of what we said.
rangoon, egg rolls. So some of this was right.
That's fine.
You went
I'm with
quesadillas.
Rodney. Like French fries. That's a travesty. Come on.
I think in my head, I'm thinking French fries are like those limp steak fries that I just don't like. But that's just me.
I don't picture that.
All All right, the entree category. We've got pizza versus pub subs.
A pizza.
What's a pub? Is that just like is that a public sub specifically?
No, that's one of those like you go into 7-Eleven at 3:00 in the morning and you're hungover and you rip open the sandwich. It's like turkey cheese.
Yeah, we got to go with
container.
pizza over that.
Speaking
There's no question on
Health
that.
issues, man.
Fried rice over chicken parm.
Chicken parm.
Oh, sorry. I need to be politically correct. Fried rice.
I
love fried rice.
That's a tough one. I think I'm gonna go chicken
The
parm.
yum yum sauce. You can get it like Japanese restaurant.
Yeah. Grilled cheese over calzones.
Calzone.
That's just pizza again.
But think of all the stuffings though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, my wife made a grilled cheese the other day with the horseradish cheese, the boar's head horseradish cheese, and I can't get that out of my mind. So I'm gonna have to go with grilled cheese.
Yeah, but you can make a calzone with horseradish cheese.
You probably could,
So, yeah.
but I'm still tasting that
Just
grilled
like
cheese.
grilled cheese you can use as bread for other sandwiches. Like
You could
something
make a
between, like
calzone out of a grilled
like a
cheese.
hamburger between 2 grilled cheese sandwiches.
That's
Come
true.
on. So we going grilled cheese, producer Brian?
That's my vote. Grilled cheese.
Actually, I think we should ask what Rodney wants.
Rodney.
Rodney.
What do you think? Rodney says grilled cheese.
All right. So it's grilled cheese. Mac and cheese over boneless wings.
Boneless wings.
Can I get the wings in my mac and cheese?
Ooh, good
Like a
call.
buffalo wing on a bun.
This is like I'm telling you, this is like the
You froze.
that we're picking out right now.
What, I didn't
What
hear-
did you
what'd
say?
So this is the 1989 Applebee's menu right here. We're choosing.
I think I'm wings over mac and cheese personally.
I'm going to go boneless wings. Yep. I'm not excited about this one. Pot pie over lasagna.
Ooh, there's something about a pot pie when you.
love a good pot pie.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's harder to find a good pot pie.
That is absolutely correct. I used to be dialed in to Marie Callender's, and then I got one that wasn't good, and I haven't had one
Do
since.
you know who
You know who-
made? Sorry, go ahead,
Go ahead.
Mojo. No, I
No,
want
go
yours
ahead.
First.
No. No, I go. You know who used to have a good pot pie?
Who's that?
Applebee's.
I was gonna say KFC. I love.
Boston
Okay.
Market.
Boston
had it.
Market. Yeah, Boston Market.
Yeah.
They also had good cream spinach too. So
Yes. Fried chicken over corn dogs.
fried chicken.
Producer Brian?
I mean, I like a good corn dog, but fried chicken's the right.
If
it's
you
the right
don't-
thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
It's the
Our
right thing
name
to
is
do.
called Southern Fried.
It's the right thing.
This Mojo, you're gonna love this. Tacos over burritos. Same thing.
Crunchy. Right. I mean, corn. You can't. You get really. Corn
It's the
cookie
flour.
over it. It's
Is that
I
what it
go
is?
I go tacos because I couldn't imagine having a Korean beef brisket kimchi taco versus a beef brisket kimchi burrito, as I taste tacos.
To me, it goes back to the small food. Like, you can order 3 tacos and feel pretty good about yourself. If you order 3 burritos and eat them,
there's a restaurant.
Is Choco Taco included?
That is true. There's no restaurant called Burritos for Life, but there is one called Tacos for Life. So tacos is going to take the win for that.
Maybe we should open up a chain called Taco Filet.
Or Burritos for Life. Spaghetti over tuna noodle.
Ugh. Considering I was dirt poor growing up and ate a lot of tuna casserole, I'm going to go with the other one.
I actually really like tuna noodle casserole, like a good one. Not tuna helper, not that one.
Yeah,
like the homemade version with a little bit of hot sauce in there. But again, I don't care about spaghetti though. I'm gonna go tuna noodle. I'm gonna lose, but give me that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with spaghetti just because I don't like the tuna noodle. All right, going to the snacks division. Potato chips over pizza rolls.
Oh God!
Oh, come on now.
It's not even fair because you got to think from the stoner point of view. Pizza rolls would win all day long.
What temperature are the pizza rolls?
They're cold. They're still frozen.
Fresh out of the microwave or oven.
Nuclear hot.
Like, are you going to taste anything else the rest of the day?
I don't know, man. There's potato chips that those sour cream and cheddar and sour cream. Those bad boys, I could eat a family bag just by myself.
I used to eat a family bag of pizza rolls by myself.
Really?
That was me. Like when I was at high school, like that was in the fridge. That's what I would eat. Like a 48 or 60 count of those. And like, give me a bottle of ranch dressing, and I'm dipping those and eat. That's all I eat.
From a merely stock investment portfolio standard, if we legalize marijuana in all 50, I'm putting money on Totino's pizza.
Absolutely. I'm going to go potato chips. Am I getting overruled with pizza rolls?
My vote's pizza rolls. What did Mojo say?
I say pizza rolls. What's Rodney say?
What's Rodney say? Pizza rolls.
Pizza rolls it is.
Oven baked. There you go.
Air fryer. If I'm going to do.
Not lava hot, though.
Here's a weird one, guys. It's Twinkies over Cheetos.
Cheetos?
Cheetos,
yeah. I got to go Cheetos. The Twinkie.
Yeah.
But
those jalapeno Cheetos.
Yeah, but then you got to go Puffs versus the regular. So I say Cheetos because.
I'll go Cheetos.
I mean, Twinkies are good in an apocalypse or Corona apocalypse, but yeah, I go Cheetos.
Yeah.
And every time I get a Twinkie, I get disappointed. Like I'm looking so forward to it, and I haven't. Like, this sucks. Cookie dough over saltines.
Cookie. Well, do I have the flu? Do I have the Corona? Then saltines.
Non-Corona right now.
Cookie dough.
I still want cookie dough, probably. I don't know.
Goldfish over Ritz crackers.
Ritz.
Ritz is more versatile here.
Yeah, there's nothing like a slice of sharp cheddar on a Ritz cracker.
Come on with
cream cheese on a Ritz cracker.
Yeah, I've never had that.
Cream cheese and pepper jelly.
That's too fancy.
It's awesome.
That's fancy. With put a little bacon on top of that too, by the way.
Okay.
There you go. You're welcome. Ramen noodles over a snack mix.
It's like Chex or something like that.
Yeah, like Chex.
I mean, I like ramen a lot.
I haven't had ramen in years because I ate it 7 times a day in my brief stint in college.
Still good.
But I have to do ramen because just the versatility of toppings.
And ramen can turn into snack mix. You just break them up and then put the powder in there, and you got your own stuff. That's done.
There you go. Bagels over popcorn.
Bagels.
I'm going to go bagels.
I guess I'll go popcorn. I mean, I like a bagel. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Doritos over pretzels.
Doritos.
And tortilla chips. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, no, I was talking to Rodney.
Yeah. Tortilla chips over combos.
Did Doritos win?
Doritos won.
Okay, that's okay. Very good.
Combos over what?
Combos.
Combos over tortilla chips.
Oh, combos.
Combos.
I do like
flavor?
me some combos.
That bacon cheddar
This is
combo.
their own draft. It could be its own draft of combos flavor.
Oh, maybe that's next. All right, this is the dessert category, the one that I love the most.
By the way, never eat a bacon cheddar combo after brushing your teeth with mint toothpaste. Just throwing it out
From
there.
experience. I got you.
I know, I heard it from someone.
Okay. Apple pie over rice pudding. This is a 1 versus 16 seed, by the way.
Come on.
I do like rice pudding though.
I do.
Apple pie because
Apple pie.
whipped cream,
It's
whipped cream
America,
ice
right?
cream.
French fries and apple pie.
Yeah, we were canceled. We were canceled cultured French fries because they had a sexual allegation 10 years ago. So
Cheesecake over donuts. Man.
I'm gonna go donuts because when I think of donuts, I think of Shipley and Krispy Kreme. So I gotta go donuts.
Producer Brian?
Here's the thing. I like a really good New York plain cheesecake. Like, that's one of my favorite things in the world. Oh. But I don't care for like all the flavored cheesecakes. But I love every donut of all shapes and sizes. So donuts for me.
Mojo, have you been to the OMG Donuts over there by the mall?
I have not, but I've
I've been
had
there.
donuts from there.
Buddy.
There.
That's good stuff. I love this next one. Ice cream sandwich versus peanut butter anything. Anything peanut butter.
Well, we do have peanut butter bourbon or peanut butter whiskey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess I gotta go peanut butter anything.
I'm an ice cream sandwich. I could eat a whole box of those right now.
Oh yeah,
Any
that's
day of the
true.
week. Like,
Yeah, but
they're
what if you had a peanut
better-
butter ice cream sandwich?
Sure, but that's that. No, I'm literally ice cream sandwich is one of my favorite things in the world. So
All right. I'll be the tiebreaker. Peanut butter anything.
let's see what Rodney said.
Oh, wait. Did you see this?
What?
Chocolate cake.
Oh, more
Oh,
donuts.
I think the donuts again. I think that is supposed to be sugar cookies.
Oh, why do you
I did
think
see an
that?
edit on the website. So sugar cookies
Oh.
versus chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake.
I'm a sugar cookie guy.
I'm going chocolate cake. Cupcakes versus Rice Krispie treats.
Homemade.
Either
What
way.
was the choices again? Rice Krispies and what?
And cupcakes.
Oh, cupcakes.
By the way, just to be clear, Rodney agreed on the ice cream sandwich. I'm just throwing that out there.
All right.
Well,
not
Robbie's
going
no
to-
longer invited to this
Rodney.
party
Well, I
anymore.
told him we cared about his opinion, and it just didn't count.
we discounted that now.
He is canceled like Nick Cannon. So cupcakes over Rice Krispie treats.
Really?
Yeah.
That happened? Okay.
I feel like Rice Krispie treats, cupcakes are way more versatile. Have you had Laura Zimmerman's cupcakes? Those things are phenomenal.
I've had a
So
lot
I'm
of
gonna
good
go with-
cupcakes. I don't know if you've noticed a theme here, but I like those really like simple flavors like that. I love like ice cream, like this real like
Yeah.
vanilla, like pure, not over the top stuff. So.
Well,
If we ever legalize weed in North Carolina, I'll show you how to make a Rice Krispie treat bong. So
there's that. Birthday cake over tiramisu.
tiramisu.
Producer Brian?
Tiramisu all day.
Tiramisu.
Yes.
All right, I got you on that. Brownies versus Oreos.
Ooh.
Oreos.
Have you seen the new hack on Oreos?
No.
I've not tried it yet because I'm on my keto diet, but you actually take a straw, cap your finger with milk
Mhm.
and then blow it into the middle of the Oreo and it swells up.
Sounds better.
So I'll let Rodney choose this one because I got to bow out, because, I got to recuse myself on this one.
Well,
I haven't
my
tried
vote
the new
is-
Oreo.
My vote is going to be brownies.
Oh wow.
Regardless.
Rodney's is brownies. Mine's Oreos. So I
All
love
right.
Oreos. So just a quick little thing. My wife made me a peanut butter pie for my birthday,
I saw it, by the
The
way.
crust was peanut butter Oreos. Like crushed
What could
up.
have been better with brownie crust?
No. Nothing would have made this pie better than it was.
Did she scoop all the middles out first? Did she lick all the middles out?
It was like the peanut butter in the chocolate. It was all like, instead of using butter, I guess, I think butter was involved too. But
So this is one thing else. This is one extra thing we missed during Corona is getting invited to places.
Birthday parties.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, the last one on the list is chocolate chip cookies versus churros.
Churros for me.
nothing better than a warm chocolate chip cookie out the oven.
Due
This is a
to
warm churro out of the fryer.
Joanna Gaines's recipe book, I'm going to go with chocolate chip cookies on this one.
Have you seen the viral video of Taco Bell churros, mini churros?
No.
They're taking basically spiral pasta and they drop it in the fryer. That's the churro. So the cinnamon twist, or they call it.
There we go. All right. Do we want to keep going, or where do we want to do, guys?
I'm hungry.
Coming up to about an hour, a little over an hour.
Yeah, we've been.
Let's skip round 2 to next week and then
All right.
get into the school topic.
All right. All right. So we will have the Starch Madness finishing up next week on the show. I like that idea.
Yeah, the sweet 16ers. I forget how that's still 32. Man.
This is we're at 32. Yep.
Wow.
So we'll start knocking them out next week. All right. So you wanted to talk about the North Carolina back to school plan, Mojo. Can you bring us up to speed? Where are we at with COVID, and what's the game plan?
Well, I think you brought it up. So I think you did.
No, I said, what are some topics? And you clearly said it in the email.
Yep.
Do I have it?
Man, that must have been someone else texting under my alias. So I'm sure everyone who's listening across the 50 states here and our territories, your governors will be announcing the current 2020/2021 school year rephase plan in your areas. Most governors are announcing their plans, and then their districts are announcing their plans according to the governor's plan. So the state of North Carolina, we just announced that we're going to a plan B out of 3 plans, A, B, and C.
Which is moderate social distancing.
Moderate social distancing, but also some virtual learning. Also, am I correct? Or has this changed since the last time I looked? Brian, you're a husband of a school teacher.
Yeah, I have a little bit of insight here on.
Come on.
Just the what was asked of the districts anyway. So they were asked to come up with 3 plans. A being business as usual. B being a social distance type plan, something that that incorporates distance learning and remote, everything together. And then C, which would have been completely virtual. And each district had to come up with their own version of that. Like the state just said, the state itself is gonna stick with whatever the B is for your district, the combined plan, so to speak.
So just to be clear, every district came up with A, B, or C.
Yes, based on their ability. So, for example, in Charlotte, which is the one I'm involved with, or the closestly, that's the one I care about.
Sure.
Me and my wife watched the school board meeting a few weeks ago, and their idea for B, and this may be different other places, was to have a 3-week rotation where a third of the kids were in person for 1 week and then at home for 2 weeks. And that they would be in groups like that. And there's a ton of questions that were asked.
So if you have one kid, if you have one kid in Cabarrus and one kid in Mecklenburg, and they have two different plan B options, they could be completely different. Is that right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. They could be some different. They wouldn't be, because the way like CMS is doing it, if you have a middle school kid and an elementary school kid, they would be technically in the same group, like the week they went to show up, like the way that, because it's done by addresses is the way they were
Okay.
proposed together. If you're in different counties, you have kids in different places. That's not. Can you even do that if you're not charter or private school?
I don't know. I was just asking a question.
I think that just overcomplicates it a little bit. But
Sure, no, it
every
does.
district
But
had to come up with their own version of that they could do, and then what Cooper did was set the minimum for the state.
Okay.
So they're saying that everyone has to be at least in B, but you can choose to be full or virtual if you want to. If you're up in somewhere where it's less effective or something,
So here's a guideline, and if you want to be more strict than that, you can be,
Yes.
but you can't be more lax than that.
Yes.
Copy. Okay. And so it's a rotation, right? Like, so you're not always at school. You're going from a classroom to remote to day off.
Again, that was the way at Charlotte. This is the one I know about. Was
Right.
Charlotte.
Right.
Was they would have break. Say if you have a third grade classroom, you would have 9 kids on week A in the room.
Okay.
Spread 6 feet apart. It's prison essentially at school because of the distancing, and you can't touch anybody or talk to anybody or go to the cafeteria. Lots of crazy stuff. But then the next week, that group A would be remote, and then the group B would come in with that teacher and get taught, spread out, 6 feet apart, whatever. That was the original Plan B. But then what happened last night at the board meeting for CMS is they went to B plus. I don't even know why they call it this. They changed it, but everyone's going to go in on a rotation the first 2 weeks of school to get all their stuff, and then they're going full remote.
Oh,
which wasn't a plan. That's like plan. I don't know. They called it B plus, but really it's just C. But
that sounds like an F to me.
2 weeks. So it's going to be a giant cluster. But
Mojo, what are your thoughts on this?
Two different ways. Plan A of my thought is that
let's call it A plus, just for fun.
A plus, yeah, or maybe A minus.
A minus.
Yeah. We have in the current climate of the cancel culture that let me frame it as that, where we're now getting the hot sizzle words of 2020: inequality. I'll just leave it inequality. Inequality is a big one. Just think about the inequality that's going to happen now in school systems. You're going to have kids who may not have access to internet, may not have access to a 2-parent household where the parent stays home and the parent works. Think about the dynamics that go on there. We can run this out to the most logical end here, where both parents work. They're staying. These kids now have to go to a daycare center that may not have adequate facilities to school them. Think about the kid whose parent doesn't give a damn about them and their education. Talking about inequality. So,
absolutely.
I know I've been hard on teachers in the past. I respect what they do. I do have some issues with the school system, Department of Education, but this could be the biggest perpetration of inequality in our school system going back to the 60s with segregation.
Wow.
Because you're going to have parents like myself, like Brian. Small batch isn't old enough to go to school yet.
Right. That's why I'm like, I got to pass.
But we had the ability. I can take my girls to work with me. Now they'll probably learn how to tattoo and cuss in a foreign language.
Arts is what we call that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Learn how to make a shank.
But they have the ability to go with me to where I can monitor them at my shop.
Mm-hmm.
All parents don't have that luxury.
No.
There's going to be parents out there sacrificing economy to stay at home because they have no other choice. I think we've talked about lost generations before in our not on the show, but in society. This could be a lost generation here, because we're now choosing safety, extreme safety, not even moderate safety, over idealism of what safety is. And there's no the science and data that Commandante Cooper talks about. Well, the age brackets of school age kids minus the older high school kids, they fall out of that territory of the stats as far as the ones who get sick. So now we're basically saying, instead of saying no child left behind, no child will get sick. And we're now compromising education. So let's just say theoretically in 2021, everything goes back to normal and we still have the same current school standards, you have the upcoming grade going into the 2021, 2022 school year, they're going to be behind. We're not going to take a kick in the crotch back for these kids that there's no way to make up at all. The other part of me is, this would be the school plan B minus or B plus or however you want to view it, is we have a unique opportunity to reshape our education system to where maybe we don't need these big ass buildings that we pay tax dollar, our tax dollars go to upkeep yearly, that we spend millions of dollars in county bonds, city bonds to build. Maybe we restructure school where maybe we can have micro schools where independent learning facilities that are accredited by the state can maybe offer some type of virtual learning with smaller classroom sizes and some type of employee that can help monitor that. But then we go back to the inequality part of it, because you'll have some school systems that are not performing, or small microcosm school systems aren't performing. But we have a unique opportunity to reshape education with this. I think that, from a pure mathematical point and accounting point, you could, if we restructure the school system, I think you'd eliminate a lot of the cost to the taxpayers and county and city overhead in the long term if you restructure it in this time. But once again, we don't know. This would be something that's unprecedented in the last 130 years of how we've been currently doing school. So I don't know.
Yeah. And I really would love, I wish we had access to a teacher that could provide more insight. Just, that'd be nice.
Look to your left, producer Brian.
But, one of the questions I have is, if there's a rotating schedule, and I see where Governor Cooper said that there's going to be childcare available. But that, I don't know if that's feasible to have daycare for every student. And if that's the case, then what's the point of separating it anyway? If they're going to a school, then they're going to a daycare, which we know are petri dishes of germs and whatnot. If it's not adequately staffed, now you've got an influx of students going to the daycare, which I don't know if they can, keep that nice and clean. How are parents going to be able to afford it, or make it happen, or pick them up, or what have you? Like, I think it's going to be a giant cluster.
Well, 2020 is a dumpster fire.
Absolutely.
Let's just go ahead and, add the kerosene on that extra fire. I go back to inequality. And here's the thing that concerns me the most is I'm fortunate and blessed to live in a decent side of the school district where we have performing schools, et cetera, et cetera. Think about the inequality. I go back to the family dynamics of families that give a damn, families that don't.
Right.
and the ones that I'm not. There's some families that just don't care.
Is that?
I know.
By the way?
I know. It's my Charlie the damn shop dog.
Charlie, keep it down.
But I go back to that inequality part is that. Hold on.
No, you're fine. Producer Brian, what are your thoughts? I'd like to know kind of your thoughts on this.
So it's an unwinnable situation.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
The truth is, and for example, they're offering a virtual, like an online virtual school also from the districts, a lot of districts, I think. So you can opt into that and just say, I'm in a position, I'll just handle it. I'm going to administer homeschool essentially.
Lord, that was tough.
For a first grader.
That's
and
so
a
tough.
Preschooler. 'Cause I have a 4-year-old also. I'm going to be doing his stuff. No one's providing that curriculum, so that's going to be interesting. But that's
you opt out of everything.
Yeah.
And you don't get like, hey, watch this lesson online.
Yeah, we will. No, so we're enrolling my daughter in the virtual CMS Academy. So she will, which I think the sign-up's maybe tomorrow for that. But so we'll get the lesson plans and she'll have a teacher.
Okay.
But I'll have to just manage that, which is fine.
Okay.
That's where we were in the spring. And that wasn't terrible for us. Again, we're very blessed to be in a situation where we are. But if you're, an essential worker, specifically you look at like the Hispanic community who has like a 30% infection rate with this disease because of their living style, their family units a lot of times, a lot of them are essential workers. They're doing all the stuff that me and you don't want to do.
Right.
Right. And
where
their families end up, like their kids, how do they make that work? And in the spring they were, like Charlotte specifically had made arrangements with like the internet providers, and you could get free internet for a month or two to finish school, and the schools were giving you devices. So there were some things to make sure everyone had accessibility, at least accessibility to the things they could do, whether it's happening or not. Was another. That's on the parents. Whether the parents care, whether the parents have time to care.
Yeah.
Because the schools are picking up. We're missing some things with protecting kids with this also.
Yeah.
The social situation.
Absolutely.
Because schools make sure that kids get fed. Schools make sure that home life, you have a protection of some kind. If something's happening, bruises,
right?
It's a line into social services from there.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of things to kind of help, and that's where I think a lot of the money ends up going into is like social services from the school side. But I don't know what kind of that's going to look like in these places. How do you protect the kids just from home? Make sure they're fed.
Well, that's not the school system's responsibility to make sure the kids are fed.
Well, that's what they do though.
But I'm saying it's not their responsibility. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be a hard ass, but it's not. And that's where I get back to the inequality of education, because the same people, the same parents, guardians that will not keep a kid accountable in school are probably the same ones that may not feed their kids.
Yeah, sure.
And I mean, the school system over the summertime has turned in from a school system into the largest provider of meals for underprivileged kids. I mean, I see the bus passes my shop every morning for our neighborhood because we're the neighborhood I'm at. And that's not the government's role to make sure that kids have 3 squares a day for 5 days a week, 6 days a week. That's not the school system's job to do that. But we've taken that upon ourselves to do that because of, some government statistic that we poll or where we came up with.
And the argument to that is, where else is there that place where all those children are that are hungry? That's the one place that they're all there at the same time, so we can feed them at that point.
No, but I know the school like in school session, I totally agree with that. But providing 3 squares a day for kids during the summer is not the school's opportunity or schools.
Right. It should be.
Well, it's only 2, but
Okay, well,
You only get 2.
Instead of 21 meals, they're only providing 14 meals a week. I got
That's
you.
10,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
think it's like
It should be the government. If you're going to say the government should be providing the food EBT cards, WIC cards for those parents so that they can go out and purchase the food to
I'm a hardliner. I would say.
I understand, but that would be the worst. That's it. It would be in the parents' hands, not the school's hands. Worst case scenario.
But personally, if I was to word it out of my own mouth, it would be it's not the government's responsibility to provide food for kids. It'd be the parents' responsibility to provide food for the kids.
Right. Yeah.
Now there is some extenuating circumstances there, disability, people lost work, et cetera, but on a repeat offenders on an annual, monthly basis, that those I would not put those in that same category. But towards the tail, I mean, when did we lock down? March. I mean, I can't remember when we locked
March,
down.
April, something like that.
March, yeah. I mean, school systems turned into a food system. They didn't turn into a school system or education. They turned into a food system. I mean, I mean, how many people I've seen people post on social media like, oh, look what the school just dropped off today, and it'd be like 27 apple juices, desserts and things like that. So
you saw more emphasis of the kids getting the food from the schools than the education that's coming from those schools.
Absolutely.
I get that point.
Yeah. But of course, at that time, at the end of the last school year, it was like whatever your kid's grade was the last day on the lockdown is the kid's grade. So if they show up, they show up. If they don't show up, it's all right. If they need comfort puppies, we got that also.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree at that point. It's going to be cluster. It really is. I don't know how these teachers and the students and parents are going to be able to handle it. I know we don't have Hot Pocket anymore, but man, it was tough, and we had 2 parents working from home, and it was still difficult. I feel sad for these kids. I really do.
No, and that's the one, I know my criticism may come across heavy against kids, but it's not, because it's kids are the victims in all this. I mean, the under 18, the ones that still have to go to school are the victims in all this, because they have no decision in this, or no say in this decision making by these individual cities and states. They have to kind of go with it.
Yeah.
But the adults here, like I said, when we make decisions, when these school districts, Herr Cooper makes decisions, of course, across the state, he's using such a broad brush that the family dynamics out there now. I mean, think about the elderly grandparents that just got their grandkids because both parents are either on drugs or just lost a parent. Think about those, the grandparents in their 70s that now all of a sudden in charge of the kids' education. Those kids will probably suffer.
The same argument would be if those kids went back to school and got COVID and gave it to grandma when they went home.
But once again, right now, under what Star Trooper Cooper keeps saying, that statistically, that age range kids are not getting sick. So therefore, according to virologists, I'm not.
Those kids haven't been anywhere. Like, they haven't been around each other, so they're not getting sick.
No, they
haven't
haven't
been in school, right? Like, we haven't seen these mass gatherings of children, so they haven't had a chance to see.
Well, according to the news, everyone's been in Myrtle Beach. So you expect kids to be, but kids have been around their parents. Parents have been out working. The parents have been out vacationing at the Dirty Myrtle.
We haven't seen the kid transmission yet. What that looks like. You know what I mean?
But we have seen it. Because we do have state stats, not just in this country, but we do have stats across the globe, and those stats from WHO and independent organizations and other, National Academy of Health in England, they're all stating that the transmission, or not the transmission, but the rates among kids are fairly low. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but right now the stats say it's not. But once again, I mean, we're not only are we shutting down the economy, we're now shutting down education, and that's my concern. Is we're now fighting. We're fighting on two fronts now, because it, like with the economy, there's repercussions we may not feel for 3 years. You're going to see housing, auto loans, commercial mortgage. You're going to see things happen in 3 years, and we're like, well, what? I can't believe that happened. Well, I mean, remember 2020? We're also that with education too, where you're going to have seniors that are graduating this year. They will be ill-equipped to go to college, and you'll see defaults on college loans. You'll see a lack of certain sectors in the market because that whole generation of 2021 seniors weren't able to stay in class. I mean, you're going to see repercussions that can be felt from 3 to 5 years down the road.
So let's hope that that generation bucks up and puts in the time. Probably not betting on that, but
well, they're too busy. They're too busy posting on TikTok right now. So.
I do have to move this forward.
Yeah, they were lost before this ever happened.
Right. That is true. That is true. All right. So Unsolved Mysteries, we're going to go to that and wrap up the show. Do you guys remember the old school Unsolved Mysteries?
Listen, that music creeps me out.
Still today.
Like when I was a kid, oh God. My parents watched it. It freaked me out. That show freaked me out. I'm just saying. Like the aliens, alien stuff, like completely mess with my head. All the
Did
time.
it?
Yes.
I was telling Jessica when I watched it as a kid, and I remember one episode where Robert, what's the Stack? Is that who it was?
Yes.
Said, now this should be easy to find. It was a kid that got kidnapped. It should be easy to find. It was a white van that had no windows in the back. It should be easy to find. And to this day, I'll see a car go by and be like, that van doesn't have windows in the back. Maybe that's the car. Like, I still remember that to this day.
What's that phone number? Right.
Yeah. Unsolved.com.
It's still it's not the same show without his voice narrating.
You're right. It is not.
And the fog and the trench coat is not the same show. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. But this is a reboot. There's, I think, 8 episodes, maybe 9, somewhere around that ballpark. And so each week we will bring you Unsolved Mysteries, and we'll talk about the show, and then give you our thoughts and theories on it. So the first one is called Mystery on the Rooftop. And Mojo, did you watch? I know Brian did his own.
I think I've seen 3 episodes. You have to refresh my memory.
All right. So this is just the first one. So this one is the story of Allison and Ray Rivera. They were married in Puerto Rico. They moved to Southern Cal so Ray could pursue directing and screenwriting. That didn't go so well. So in 2004, they moved to Baltimore to work with his high school friend, Porter Stainsbury, to write financial newsletters. In 2006, his wife had a business trip. She left Ray with her colleague that was staying at home with them at the time. That evening, she called Ray, and he didn't answer his phone. She called her colleague, and she said that he took a call around 6:30, said the word "oh" dramatically, and immediately left his house. The colleague called Allison, his wife, the next day, stating that he never returned from home that night. So right now, immediately I think, there's a colleague staying at home, wife's on a business trip, Ray went out. I'm like, maybe Ray had something on the side. That's my thoughts. Do you guys have any thoughts so far?
Nope, keep going. I'm good. Yeah.
Keep going. All right. So the wife immediately leaves the business trip, comes home and starts a search. The family and friends show up. The colleague goes home. I'm still wondering what's going on with his colleague. There's not a whole lot mentioned on the show about the colleague. But anyway, she goes home. Ray is nowhere to be found. Several days later, they found his car in a parking lot close to the Belvedere Hotel, which is also close to his work, Stanberry and Associates. They start searching and canvassing the area, and they can't find anything except 3 guys decide to go up at the parking deck, see if they can look around up there and see what they can find. There is a hole found in the roof of the conference center of the Belvedere Hotel, and flip-flops were found next to the hole. Dum, dum, dum. The only way that you could see that hole is on the roof of the parking deck. Initially, you think, okay, he may have jumped from the higher part of the Belvedere Hotel, which is a giant hotel. It's massively high. But if he would have done that, to get to where that hole is, it's 45 feet from the end of the rooftop to where the hole is. That's 45 feet. He could have jumped from the top of the parking deck. It was a 20-foot jump from the parking deck roof to the hole, but it was only 20 feet down, so he wouldn't have died. His body was found 8 days later, massive decomp. There were no gunshot wounds, stab wounds, severe body damages consistent with a fall. Here's where it gets a little crazy. Well, even more crazy. His cell phone and his eyeglasses were not damaged in the fall. And the only thing that was missing was his money clip. They say that there's no way that he could have gotten to the roof of the Belvedere Hotel. There's locked doors and winding passageways. However, the camera on the rooftop was disconnected. The autopsy said that it was inconclusive. However, the way that his shins were broken, that looked inconsistent with a fall. The medical examiner called it undetermined. Then the story took a weird right turn. There was a note found taped to the back of his computer. It had a list of different names, famous quotes, movies, and then there's a bunch of weird, incoherent sentences. I don't know what's up with his note. It struck me as odd. And then last of it, Porter Stansberry, again, his best friend, as soon as the cops started questioning him, lawyered up, wouldn't talk to police. He gave a $1,000 reward and made everybody in his office sign a non-disclosure agreement. The last part of the show, they talks about 3 nights before the incident, a house alarm goes off at 1 a.m. The alarm company said it was squirrels. Allison said Ray was scared to death and was bugging out with a baseball bat. The very next night, it also happened at 1 a.m. Then the next night, he disappeared. That's the summary. That's 52 minutes summed up in about 3 minutes. So, producer Brian, Mojo, what are your thoughts of the first episode of Unsolved Mysteries?
Well, the first thing you see when you turn this episode on is the guy's picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like the first shot. It's him like in a picture. And I went, oh, he's dead. As soon as I saw the picture, I went, oh yeah, he's dead.
That guy's dead.
He's dead. That's what this is about. Is that guy? He's dead.
Yeah.
And then when they never had the voice of the Porter guy, like people that don't comment on this stuff, it's really guilty. My first thought was Carol Baskin did it.
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good one.
That was the first thing I thought of. And then when it got really weird about how he got in the hole from, like, you can't jump that. He was a polo player, water polo, which is pretty fit.
That is true.
But can you do like a 45-foot long jump off the top of a building? And like, I don't know. That seems kind of crazy. So my second thought was aliens because this is Unsolved Mysteries.
Okay. I think that's about episode 7, but okay.
Okay. Well, I haven't got that far. So. I don't know, but he was writing like financial documents, like stock tip stuff, and he was apparently looking into the Masons.
Right, the Freemasons. That was one of the weird quotes on this. It's
really, it's just weird the way his body was found. And
Yeah.
there's some. I'm sticking with aliens. That's the best.
Okay.
It had to be aliens.
Aliens. Mojo, thoughts? Does that bring back memories? Does that help?
Yeah, it does. Porter Stansberry, the boss friend of the guy here, is you hear him on a lot of advertising his newsletter, the Stansberry newsletter or whatever, on talk radio.
Oh, really?
Podcast, yeah. It's not mainstream stuff. It's just, whatever. And it's a subscription based newsletter. They send you out for stock tips and economy tips and currency trading and things like that. I don't know. It just seems like a kind of a D bag, I've heard him interviewed, but that doesn't make him guilty or whatever. But it doesn't look good in his eyes, or in the viewer's eyes. It doesn't look good when he's lawyering up, making sure everyone has gag orders on them. It works for them. But yeah, just the inconsistencies. But I guess if you took Commandante Cooper's logic, I guess the guy would have committed suicide. None of the other facts matters. Science data,
science
right?
and the data.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were the odd things of his cell phone wasn't broke.
The eyeglasses,
the glasses. Like, how do you
flip flops
fall?
too? The flip flops too.
Well,
Yeah.
There were flip flops.
They were like,
but one of them
scuffed.
was tore up and one of them was scuffed. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was weird.
Front scuff, but it wasn't consistent with, like, I guess that what they did when they had someone who was familiar with trajectory and angling. I failed geometry, so
Sure.
physics, so but someone that could actually say, all right, a human would have to be this X amount of speed to get to this angle to end up 45. But the caveat is he had flip-flops on, and the flip-flops were not consistent with a person running in stride and things like that. So a lot of unanswered questions, and I'm sure his ex-wife still has a lot of questions today. I mean,
Yeah.
And then, not the normal suicide letter, the letter you leave. I mean, it's a lot of, like I said, the Freemasonry and Illuminati. I mean, he could have been the Jeffrey Epstein of his time. I mean, who knows?
Could have. As producer Brian will say, a lot of gobbledygook. None of it was coherent sentences. It was just weird, weird statements. What about the alarm going off 2 nights in a row at 1 o'clock in the morning? The security company came out and said it was squirrels. But 2 nights in a row, the alarm going off? That part was weird to me too.
Are squirrels that nocturnal?
That's the other part is I haven't seen squirrels running around at night.
I mean, I've seen squirrels running around, but never at that time at night. I mean, they're not that active. I mean, was it like a quinceañera for squirrels or something that night? I mean, what was it? Was it Taco Tuesday? I mean,
I thought that was weird. My official stance will be anybody named Porter, obviously is guilty of any crime. If you decided, and that's his middle name. I think his first name is Ryan or something like that. He sounds, to me, it points to him as being extremely guilty. Now, what I don't understand is how did he get down there? Like, how did he have that big of a fall with that much body damage?
Yeah.
You can't even throw him off of the thing, and none of the windows of that hotel open up. How did he get down there anyway?
Did anyone check Porter Stansberry's eBay order? Because Amazon wasn't around at that time to see if he had ordered any anchovy oil. Maybe there's some type of viscosity thing with anchovy oil, like Carol Baskin. He can get some type of
Were his wounds consistent with like a tiger mauling?
Maybe that's it. But and then the shins were broke in a way that was inconsistent with the fall. So it's just weird mystery. It's an unsolved mystery, but none of those things made sense. But I think at the end of the day, Porter had something to do, allegedly had something to do with it. We had to be very clear so we don't get sued. He allegedly had something to do with it.
Yeah, because he likes the lawyers, so.
He does like them lawyers. So anyway, so I thought that was interesting. I wanted to know your all's thoughts of it. Next week we will do the Starch Madness, the rest of the bracket. We will have episode 2 of Unsolved Mysteries, and that about wraps up our show. Mojo?
Yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in this week. If you can't, go to our Facebook page at southernfriedphilosophy.com. Also, our website is Southern Fried Philosophy. Go to our website at southernfriedphilosophy.com. Wherever you download your podcast, please go there, hit Southern Fried Philosophy, subscribe, give us a like, a review. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at SFP Radio. Also, if you'd like to become an SFP insider, please go to patreon.com/SFP Radio. Also, don't forget, if you're not signed up to be a voter, you have a little bit of time left to sign up for voter registration for this upcoming election in the fall. But also, most importantly, make sure you sign up to be a donor, because you can save someone's life.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks again for tuning in. And as always, keep looking up.